Look at this. It's a little piece of China. We're actually in a temple right now. This temple in particular is a temple for the worship of ancestors here in Oroville, California. Just on the side of, I think, the Feather River, at the old Chinese temple built in 1863, and it's a sometimes vlog. See, I couldn't do that in there. It would have been a little bit disrespectful. It's a vlog that happens sometimes. That's right. We are at California Historical Monument, I think number 770, the Chinese temple built in 1863. Like I said, with funds from none other than the Emperor of China. This very, very, very nice woman named Carol just gave me a tour of the whole place and explained it all to me. I said, "You were very good at explaining it." And she said, "I do a lot of third grade classes." So that just shows you what level of understanding I have. Look at this giant thing. This is for burning good fortunes. When you get your fortune, you burn it and send the good fortune up to heaven so that it comes true. She told me that if you get a bad fortune, you have to crumple it up and throw it away and get the bad stuff out of your life. That's pretty good advice for the quest of positivity. She's giving someone else a tour of the main temple, so I'll go there last, but let's go inside. Come on. Gift shop. See? Here's the main temple right here. And there's Carol back there explaining the temple. I don't want to interrupt her explanation with random, sometimes vloggage. Look at this. This was constructed later, I believe, in the 1950s when they were restoring the temple back to its buttery goodness. The reason this temple's super famous, and apparently it's super famous in China too, is because the three major Chinese religions, plus some extra ones, all worshipped in this temple together when it was constructed. The Emperor of China himself gave some cash to help its construction. So you can imagine if you put, Catholic and Protestants and maybe Mormons and everybody all in the same church, how crazy that would be. So she said for the first 5 years, they all were in the same building, and they added that little extra temple, and they added this Buddhist temple up here. So they sort of split them up after a while so that they wouldn't risk any fighting. But look at that. Here's a typical Chinese dwelling of the 1860s. All these laborers came over from China, and they were told that there was mounds and mounds of gold in them there hills. Gold! Just to pick up off the ground, make their fortune. Then they got here, and of course, mostly work digging ditches, building levees, carrying dirt around, doing laundry, and basically doing the work that all immigrants throughout all of time are forced to do. They face a lot of prejudice in most areas, but apparently here in Oroville, they went to the city fathers, they made sort of a peace. So in Oroville, Chinese culture was thriving. They had this famous temple here. The Emperor and the Empress of China were donating items. This room is, I think, much, much later, and it's dedicated to some of the business owners here. Ooh, they had a national cash register. That's pretty fancy stuff. So the Chinese thrived for a long time here. The temple flooded in 1907 with the huge Oroville flood. Like everything else, it was closed for years and years. Finally given to the city, restored, and all the Chinese families in the area had preserved and protected the artifacts. I think we can talk in here because this one was the council chambers. It looks pretty serious. Council chambers. Serious business. But look at all these crazy artifacts. So I've been informed that all these artifacts are pre-1907. Many of them are from the 1860s, and many of the tapestries and artwork and artifacts are even older than that. Some of them may be as old as the 1600s, etc., 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 that were sent from China to here. So this is pretty fantastic. I don't know what I was expecting. I saw Chinese temple. I thought, I'll pop in the Chinese temple and check out the old historic Chinese temple. I think I was expecting 4 brick walls, a few pictures, maybe a plaque, and that was about it. But no, it is literally filled to capacity, so much so that they had to build this extra building with all kinds of artifacts. Many of these have been donated after the fact. Look at this. Artifacts. I know I'm going quickly, but that's because I don't want to run out of time and risk the end of the vlog getting clipped off. That keeps happening. If it does, go to Instagram, LiveFastIPour, @LiveFastIPour. and I will show you many pictures of these fine artifacts, since I know I have to go quickly. But this is pretty fantastic. One thing are these historic pictures of the temple after it flooded and all this different stuff that they have in here in Oroville. But one thing I noticed in particular is they used to have the good old bomb festival. That seems like a hoot and a half, let me tell you. So here we are in this giant tapestry hall. Look at that. So many of these may be far, far older than the temple itself. Some of them are more recent and donated to, I don't know, teach about Chinese culture, etc., etc. But the creepiest part of this whole complex is definitely this room. This bicentennial room here is all about the costumes of China versus the costumes of America. See? So Chinese, American. Chinese, some American. And let me tell you what. Look at here, see these brides here. You can see the difference. Their brides are a little more colorful. When you're in this room by yourself, like I was earlier, it is literally so creepy. So creepy. Especially the children. I don't know why. Actually, even though I'm talking to you, I'm still getting creeped out, especially by this one. Okay, that's a little bit creepy. So let's go and check out the main temple before I run completely out of time for the Sometimes vlog. Oroville, California. You would never expect to see something that's amazing. It is literally one of the coolest things I have bumped into on my journey this far. It's a total accident, just filling up some time today, roaming around before I inevitably head back to the Los Angeles area. And I happened to stumble across an ancient Chinese temple right here in Gold Country. Oh, see, there's Carol right there.
Hey.
See?
Hello.
She gave the best tour. Okay, so now I'm not going to be interrupting. So I'll pop in here. Here we go. The main temple. Built in the 1860s. Carol told me that this right here was the original door and that this threshold prevents the evil spirits from crossing into the temple, because apparently evil spirits have no joints and they can't step over the threshold. Oh, I didn't show you the Buddhist temple upstairs. I'll try and do that if it doesn't get cut off. If it does get cut off, thank you for watching. Goodbye. If it doesn't get cut off, cool. But if it does, Instagram. Look at this. All this stuff, hand carved from China. All this pewter from China. Here's the fortunes I was telling you about. The priest would print the fortunes here. You would get the fortune. If it was good, you burn it out there. If it was bad, you try to get rid of it. That's pretty cool. Look at all these happiness signs. These are like your daily positivity quotes. You come in here, you donate some positivity to the temple, and other people can come in. So you got all these crazy incense burners, all super old school, really old silk lanterns. They're all decaying. Paper mache parade heads in a state of arrested decay. And she was saying that some people still come here and do their crazy Chinese prayers to these strange gods I don't know anything about, really. I do know that as a piece of artwork, I find it fascinating. As a religious item, I don't know. Peacock feathers, because this represents the eye of the emperor. The emperor has got his eye on you. Oh, I'm afraid the temple will be quite operational when the Chinese arrive. But it's not an active temple all the time now, just sometimes. It's available sometimes for different ceremonies. She was telling me that sometimes the families that originally founded the place will come in and do different things, but for the most part this is just a museum. So pretty cool, pretty fantastic. All this paper stuff, this paper on the wall, very delicate rice paper, still here from back in the day. So the gold miners and Chinese immigrants that were looking for their fortunes in the hills of California would come in here and do all their praying, beat the gong over here to let everybody know that we're here to pray. Pay attention to me. I got some things on my mind. Wash their hands, cross the threshold away from the evil, and do their praying in here. Look at this. That's pretty fantastic. I learned a lot of things today. So I got to go back up to the Temple of the Moon. We got to go back up to the Temple of the Moon, which is the Buddhist temple they added upstairs above the council chambers. I was the first one here when I opened today at noon. I was the first one to start roaming around here, and I walked into literally every possible spider web on every possible path long before this vlog started, so I can now walk up here with a lot more confidence than I did earlier. Hopefully the vlog is still going. Big problem with that. Look at this. Temple of the Moon. And this is the Buddhist temple here at the Chinese temple in Oroville. So again, the traditional Chinese threshold, so the evil spirits can't get in. We can get in. I'll be a little more respectful in here. I don't know about hats. Is it disrespectful to wear a hat in a Buddhist temple? I have no idea. I'm just gonna keep it on because it's Mickey Mouse, and I've seen plenty of Buddhists at Disneyland, so that's probably fine. We enter through the moon door, representing the circle of life. It's a circle of the moon temple. Yeah, look at that. So over here, this parasol in the corner was donated by the Empress of China. So even though it seems pretty random, Oroville, California, on the Feather River here in the middle of the way northern Central Valley, this is a very famous temple in China, well known to the top dogs themselves. And they helped fund it, to build it, maintain it, and keep donating fantastic stuff to the temple. So there you go. We saw a traditional Chinese dwelling. The fact that they were able to establish businesses here, the Moon Temple, the council chambers where they conducted community business. I'm not sure if they had their own court of law or what was going on in there, but it looked pretty official and pretty intimidating chairs down there. I am still roaming around on the quest for positivity, doing it, feeling positive, staying active. Well, I did stay in a hotel last night that was a little bit janky. I woke up to the sound of two people arguing over who owed who crack rocks. But when I walked outside, they were very polite, like, oh, we hope we didn't wake you up. I guess I don't mind crackheads as long as they're polite. That's a true story. It was pretty funny, actually. And now I'm in Oroville, California, just soaking it in. So I'm going to keep walking around, learning, uploading things to Instagram. I'll probably taking pictures to upload them later because I'm going to find some good Wi-Fi, and hopefully this vlog will not get clipped off and will upload in its entirety. Look at these koi. They look delicious. I'm kidding. I would never eat a koi fish. Not a raw one anyway. Look at these. Traditional Chinese penguins. Just what I always wanted to see. Traditional Chinese penguins. So I'm going to make my way through the temple one more round, taking pictures to upload later. Maybe I'll upload some to the Live Fast app or Facebook if there's too many. I don't want to spam up Instagram completely. Oh, it says pull. I can read, I promise. And continue. So that's about it. Go to the Chinese temple. I just want to go outside and show you the front of it, because it's beautiful out here. Oroville is actually a very beautiful town. I was driving through and all the fall leaves are changing. Oh, it's hard to see because of the sun, I know. But all the leaves are changing. It is gorgeous up here along this river. So I hope that all of you have a wonderful, gorgeous, fantastic, positive day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to future Sometimes Vlog. I really want to come back here and film a full random land video with a good camera and really get shots of all this cool stuff. So hopefully I'll get a chance to do that next time I roam up here, because this was completely fantastic. It caught me completely off guard and completely by surprise. I thought maybe I'll save it for the future. I thought, no, it's still worth taking a look. All right, guys. Hopefully we made it this far together, and the whole vlog, you've seen it with your eyeballs, and it all worked out. Thank you for watching. See you guys later. Probably back in LA, although I don't know. Sometimes happens, sometimes. There's no way of knowing. There's no way of predicting. Why am I talking like this? I kind of sound like Adam. Hi, Adam. We both do that. I don't know why. The Emperor has built his temple. The Emperor. Oh. Okay, goodbye.